The next session I want to talk about or focus on interacting with the audience. Again, one of the things that we lose by not having face-to-face meetings in a physical location is the ability to simply and easily interact with the audience. However, there are plenty of tools that we can use within Zoom and elsewhere that allow us to do that interaction. There is, however, a little bit of a problem in that you can't share a Zoom screen over Zoom. So I can't show you how to do things in Zoom over Zoom. Well, except I can. This is technically really quite complicated for me to be able to do this. But what I can do is I'm actually set up a second Zoom meeting on a different computer so that I can show you what happens within Zoom. Right, there's only two participants. There is me and actually my iPad on this call. I would imagine that everybody is familiar with the use of chat. So we have a chat window down here and I can send messages to individuals, and this is of course how we're doing the questions. And I think most people are familiar with that. What you may not be familiar with, at least one person is, because I saw a raised hand earlier on, is the ability to send non-written feedback using the icons. So at the bottom of the screen, and again I hope you can see this, there is a button where I can clap, I can do a thumbs up. You will see these in different places depending on your version of Zoom. But if I'm wanting to poll the audience, I'm asking them if they understand, then simply by using these indications, that allows me to get some simple feedback from people. It also allows me to do things like raising my hand. So you can see here, I have a hand raised up there. And this is a way of me raising my hand to indicate that I wish to speak. The raise hand may be at the bottom of the screen here, or it may be over at the side by the participant window, depending on the version of Zoom that you have. And there are equivalent tools if you're operating from an iPad or from a phone. This also allows you to add other types of interaction, of non-written feedback. So I could, for example, ask everybody, and I'm going to do it over on this screen. So could I ask you, can you all see that? Could you tick on the little yes button that you'll see at the bottom of the participant window saying, yes, you are understanding and you can see this. Let's see how many people manage it. So you need to have the participant window open. Okay, we've got some clapping. That's close. So you should be able to see on here this little thing that says yes. So you'll need to look at the participation. Right, we've got a thumbs up there. I can see some bemused looking faces. Oh, we even have a little birthday kind of a thing. So to see that, you'll need to click on where it says participants to bring up the participant window. And once you brought up the participant window, right, okay, yeah, we've got 4 yeses now. And me scrolling up and down the participant window, I can now see, right, we've got 5 yeses and so on. There's also obviously a no. There's slower, there's faster, there's other ways of interacting with the audience on a very, very simple basis. And as I'm host, I can do a clear all, so I've now unticked all of your yeses. What else can we do for interaction? One of the things that we might do in a physical meeting, I'm going to lower my hand. One of the things that we might do in a physical meeting is to have a whiteboard and chat with the audience and write down ideas on the whiteboard. Now, this is something that you might want to do on a virtual meeting and is indeed possible. So if I go to share screen, instead of sharing my screen, what I can do is to share a whiteboard. And again, you are seeing you're seeing my screen, you're seeing this whiteboard, and see a whole bunch of other stuff behind it. So with this whiteboard, I can write on this. That's not real writing. I can draw things. I can, do very kind of basic drawings. This is actually quite a lot easier to do if you've got a graphics tablet or if you're using an iPad. And indeed, what I've done using these whiteboard tools before now is on a family Zoom to play the game Pictionary. So somebody randomly draws an object, they have to draw it, and you play a Pictionary game. It isn't just pens. If you want to be typing things, so typing up notes, you can do this, and so on. So this is a really simple and easy way of doing whiteboard sharing to interact with the audience. The audience is coming up with ideas, you type them up on the whiteboard, and everybody can see that. And we've got erasers and spotlights and all sorts of other tools, and I can clear all of that. And Zoom will keep annotations, keep those whiteboard images after the Zoom call is finished. So that allows you, like you might within a real physical presentation, to take a photograph of the whiteboard for later use. You can do the same thing for this. I need to stop sharing the whiteboard. What else can you do within Zoom? You can, of course, run polls. I would hope that most people are well aware of running polls, that most clubs, I imagine, use polls for best speaker and such things. The polls have to be set up by the person who is the host and logged in to the browser, the host account on the browser. And by running a poll, we can get numerical feedback, votes for individual people, best speakers, and so on. There is a limit of 10 items for that. So if you've got more than 10 people doing table topics, for example, it's a little difficult to do that as a poll through Zoom. I would hope that most of you are familiar with these tools. What I want to talk about next are other tools that you may not be so familiar with. So I need to scoot back to here now. In my club, we use Google Forms for feedback. So to get feedback at the end of somebody delivering a speech, rather than using the private chat, which kind of works, but it doesn't work brilliantly, what we do in my club, Based on Set Speakers, is to use a Google form. So this is a Google form that I prepared ahead of time, that we ask the feedback to have the name and then feedback for each of the speakers. And the principal benefit of this is that all of the responses are loaded together. And so I can see here, this is all of the feedback for Debs. So then I can copy and paste this into a document and post it to Debs as a document within the meeting. So Debs will get all of the feedback from here in a single document that can then be titled, the name of the speech, and so on. So Google Forms, this is a very, very simple way of doing Google Forms. I actually go a step beyond this. I've used Google Forms for contests, particularly club contests, and we've used this to get the ballots from the judges, and I then used or connected to Google Sheets, and the Google Sheets can then be used to automatically tally all of the results and give some analysis. So if you're trying to get some rather more complicated feedback from the audience rather than just simply a bit of text, you can link this into Google Sheets and do an analysis for numerical scores and points and questions and so on. Okay, that's Google Forms. Just as a quick bit of feedback, does anybody who here uses something like Google Forms for feedback for the slips that we have for individual evaluation for speakers? And if anybody's got any other ideas for giving that kind of feedback beyond private chat, I'd be interested to hear. So anybody? Apparently, no, I see no hands, so nobody's using Google Forms. I guess you must all be using regular kind of chat. Okay, what else can we do? We can have some much more effective interaction with the audience. I did warn you ahead of time that you needed to have your mobile phone to hand. What I'd like you all now to do, a few of you in the audience already know the answers to these. What I'd like you to do is to go to kahoot.it on your phone. And once you've gone to kahoot.it, you will see somewhere where you have to put in a PIN, and you will need to type in to that PIN 3931739. And then you need to type your name in, and we've got me and we've got Emma who have already joined, and we've got Venus. See who else has managed to get there. MC. Give me a few more minutes for a few more of you to join, and make sure, so you can actually join after I start this, but I just want to give you a couple minutes in case anybody else wants to join. Right, now we're going to find out how much you know about pathways. Some of you already know the answers to this because I ran this quiz yesterday. So let's see those of you who already answered the question, whether you managed to get these all right. What is going to happen is some questions will come up on the screen in front of you, and those questions will have coloured answers associated with them. The answers need to be done from your phone. So on your phone, you will have coloured squares that correspond to the answers on the screen that you're seeing in front of you. The faster you answer the question, the more points you get, and there'll be a 20-second time limit for each of you to answer. And we're going to find out who knows most about pathways. The first question is just a test. I really, really hope everybody gets the answer right, not least of which because I have already given you the answer. Question number 1. What is the Toastmasters education program called? Is it called walkways, pathways, doorways, or hallways? Really, this is just a question of who can get to the thing fastest. Right, we've got 16 answers. 17 answers. Okay, so all except one person, that one person was me incidentally, got it right. Excellent, right. And let's see who was the quickest. Emma was the quickest. Question 2, how many paths are there to choose from? Are there 9, 10, 11 or 12? Ten seconds left. 17 answers, 18 answers. There's 10 questions in this quiz. I thought it would be fun just to run this anyway. Right, and almost everybody got it right. There are 11 paths to choose from. There used to be 10. And Emma is still in the lead. Question 3, how many core competencies are there in each path? Are there 3, 5, 7 or 10 core competencies in each path? Yeah, a slightly trickier question. 17 answers, 18, and excellent. Like, you all know lots about pathways, don't you? There's some slightly harder questions. It is indeed 5. And, well, Venus is moving up, catching up. Next question. How many levels are there in each path? Are there 3, 5, 7, or 9? Seventeen answers. 4 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, excellent. Almost everybody got that right. There are, in fact, 5 levels in each path. And Grace has a winning streak of 4. Emma's still in the lead. Question 5, halfway through. When is mentoring included in pathways? It's not at all. It's from the start. It's from level 3 after one path is complete. 12 answers. 8 seconds left. 7, 6, 3, 2, 1. Let's see who got this one right. It is indeed from level 3. Once you've completed level 3, the mentoring program opens for you as a mentor. Oh, Emma's still in the lead. Pippat is close. Question 6. What do you need for a project to be marked complete in Basecamp? Do you need to go through every page in Basecamp? Do you need to do the before and after assessment? Do the after assessment? Or you don't have to do anything. The VPE marks it as complete. 7 seconds left. And the right answer was not selected by most people. The correct answer is do the after assessment. Oddly, there is no requirement to having done the before assessment, but it makes rather more sense to do that. Ooh, tough question. True or false? You have to choose one of the paths the questionnaire suggests. When you do the path choice questionnaire, do you have to take the path it suggests, one of the paths it suggests? 4 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. The answer is, of course, false. You can choose whatever path. You don't even have to do the questionnaire. Oh, Nucha's got a winning streak of 7. Emma's still in the lead. I think Emma might know the answers. Once a VPE confirms a level as complete, will it automatically count towards a DCP goal? Is that true or false? 5 seconds left. It is in fact false. The DCP goal, the award needs to be done in Club Central, and the 2 systems are completely unconnected. Wouldn't it be nice if we had Toastmasters connected IT systems? Oh, Deb's Wah is coming, catching you up, Emma. Second from last question. If you're a dual member, which club gets your DCP goal credit? The club where the VPE recorded the level as complete, the home club of the member, the credits go to alternate clubs, or the member can choose. 5 seconds left. Hey, you didn't know you'd get a free bit of education on pathways in this techie presentation. The member can choose. The VPE who records the level may then go ahead into Club Central and claim the DCP Gold credit by recording the award, but that's not the case. I'm very sorry, Lynette, I've only just seen your message. The pin is actually at the bottom right of the screen, but we've only got 1 question to go. Debs has a winning streak with 9 correct answers. Lara is coming up in 3rd. Final question. Multiple select. Tick all of those that are true. What do you need for a Pathways DTM? Tick all of those that are true and then hit submit. You get 1,000 points for every one you get correct. And the answer is all of them. You need to do 2 complete paths. Then you need to be a club mentor or coach. You need to have done a DTM project. You need to be a club officer and a district officer, and you need to have run you have been a club sponsor, run Speechcraft or a youth leadership program. Right, let's see who was in 3rd place. In 3rd place, 8 out of 10 questions right with nearly 9,000 was Venus. 10 out of 10 questions was Debs W. And the winner with 10 out of 10 questions right was Emma. Can't help thinking maybe Emma knew the answers.
Yeah, how do you speed up? Because the minute you give the questions and it's just buffering, by the time you finish it and everybody has answered, that's when you only release the answer. So how do you stop it from buffering and just? I know that I have a
better network connection. It's a network connection issue. So anyway, so that was Kahoot. I thought I'd throw that in rather than just talking about Kahoot because we had a little bit of time. What I want to talk about next as an interactive tool is Mentimeter. Now, I've used Mentimeter. So Kahoot is great because it's an interactive tool where you can ask questions. Mentimeter is another tool that you can use that will allow you to get audience interaction. And so once again, there are only 2 things that I've got in Mentimeter. So what I'd like you to do is on your phones, go to mentimeter.com and use the code 1504037. Yeah. Emma has conceded that she was cheating and that the real winner was Debs. So, yeah. I think Debs might have been cheating as well. Righty-ho. So, I hope that lots of you have managed to...
Do we have to sign up, Kit? It's asking us to sign up.
No, just go to the web browser. So go to menti.com. Sorry, not Mentimeter, menti.com. It says it on the screen. So you put into your web browser, menti.com. And from menti.com, you should see a screen. So what you should be seeing, I'm just going to flip back to me for a moment. So from your phone, you should be seeing a screen like this, which shows you somewhere to put a code. And the code is 1504037. And once you've done that, if you can click the little heart thing, it tells me that you are ready to go with this. So if you just press on the heart, then I know, right, okay, so we've got 12 people. I'm going to go ahead with this. So we're going to have some interaction. Behave. I have to do a refresh of this. It's bear with me a second. Right, it's behaving now. So what was your knowledge prior to the training today? What I'd like you to do is to fill in on the screen in front of you whether it was from very little to a lot, your knowledge, your prior knowledge of the use of Zoom and your prior knowledge of the use of PowerPoint. And you should all be seeing on the screen the aggregate of those scores. So we've got 3.3 and 3.3, 3.4 in the use of Zoom, 3.4 in the use of Zoom. So we're kind of halfway between having very little knowledge and being an expert. Well, somebody might be claiming to be an expert, but on average, we're around that. Okay. So this is something that you can do in Mentimeter, is get people to rank things and to see their average. So you could, for example, be asking people how good is our club at welcoming visitors? And you ask the club members to give a score. Now, the benefit of this is that you're getting interaction with the audience without them necessarily having to identify who they are. So if they think that the club isn't really very good at running its mentoring program, you can score down and so on. Right, next question. The next question is a word cloud. And what I want you to do is to type in a word that describes this training. So type in a single word that encapsulates the training. You can be as rude as you like. And what you should see is we're building a word cloud from that. It would appear it was quite informative. There is another tool. So I've only got 2 slides on this just to demonstrate a couple of the things that you can do with Mentimeter. And again, I've used this tool when at TLI's, Training Leadership Institute, Toastmasters Leadership Institute, to ask people a word that encapsulates their club. So what is it about their club and so on. So it's really great. It like interactively builds a word cloud. There's various other things that you can do with Mentimeter. There's also a tool called Slido. And so Slido allows you to do things a bit like Kahoot and a bit like Mentimeter. It's a little bit more professional. Right, okay, so there's a question over here. Where do you get the access codes from? I pay for an account for Kahoot and I pay for an account for Mentimeter, so I have paid accounts for both of those, and so I'm authoring these quizzes myself on my computer. I do use these a lot. I also use these for work purposes, so to have interactive business type training, we use these at work. I'm going to flip back to here. Okay, we're getting towards the end of the hour. I wanted to make sure that there are some opportunities for any additional questions, but I've finished with this presentation and I'm going to open this up to questions. So I think I've answered the 2 questions that I'm seeing in chat. Grace, do you have any other additional questions?
There's no other questions. I mean, nothing on a private message.
Okay. Yes, Thomas.
Hi, Kit. Thanks for that. It's very productive. I'm just curious because I run a Mac and everything that you've said, I guess, has its equivalent in Apple. Is that correct or not?
You actually saw a Mac. The thing that I was screen sharing to was my Mac. So I also have a Mac, and I alternate between using my PC and my Mac. Sometimes I use my Mac. Absolutely everything runs. I mean, slightly reluctant to say identically, but the differences between running the stuff on a Mac and running it on a PC is trivial. It's minor.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's actually my Mac that you're seeing there.
You're doing much better now.
Any other questions? There was a question, are we getting the recording? So I triggered a local recording. I'm not sure if the host also made a cloud recording.
Sharing it later on, Kit.
Yeah, okay, so I'm told yes. Yeah, Emma, go ahead.
Kit, I've just had a look at Mentimeter and it says create your free Mentimeter account. Does that kind of only gives you so much functionality?
Correct. So a free account, you can only have 3 questions. So it's quite handy if you want. So the thing that I just did, one quiz, 1 word cloud, 1 other kind of a quiz, you can do that for free. So and what program did you use to create the word cloud? It's Mentimeter. So it's one of the quiz type in Mentimeter. Oh yeah. I also just, I see that somebody is doing this. I also, on occasions, give me a second. Where's it gone? Right, thank you. Something else that I sometimes do is I use this timer as a timer background. So this allows me to use, there's kind of a bit of an aside. So I use this as a timer background with the times being displayed or colors being displayed. So this is a really natty little tool. It's from calibgrove.com. And so I just click the button and it runs a timer. I just thought I'd kind of throw that in. But yeah, Mentimeter, the free version, is only 3 questions. I don't think there's a free version of Kahoot. Yeah, Kathy, go ahead.
Yeah, when you were doing your presentation, the speaker pane, the participant panes were down the on mine right-hand side. How can you get rid of those panes?
So at the bottom of the screen, you have, so you move your mouse over the screen. At the bottom of the screen, you've got participants and chat. Those can toggle on and off, and they can be flyouts or they can be docked to the video screen. So if you're seeing the participant pane, let me just go back to here. So you're seeing my this. So participants button down the bottom here. If I click that, the participants will go, and if I click chat, the chat window will go. It's also possible to tear that out and put it on a different screen or a different area. So if you don't want this participant screen down the side, you click on the participants button and it will disappear. Okay.
Kit, what was the name of the timer app that you used?
So just give me a second and I'll post it in the chat.
Thank you.
timetimer.calibgrove.com. Really handy, really natty little Toastmaster timer, which I then use as a virtual background through OBS Studio, but you could just use it on the screen as a second device or something.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing any more raised hands or questions, so I'm going to hand back to Grace.